Hello everyone. In today's session, we will see how to find if the element is present or not in the list. So we are going to verify for the specific element. If it is present, then we should print output as element is present. And if it is not present in the list, then we should print element is not present. Now, for example, let's say this is my list. This is the list containing different values. And if we define element equals to 4, and we are going to verify whether that 4 is present in that list or not. If that 4 is present in that list, we are going to print output as element is present. And if that element, for example, if 56, so 56 is not present in that list. So in that case, our program should print element is not present. So now let's see programmatically how we can check whether the element is present in the list or not. So I'm going to PyCharm. Let's create new file. I'm naming it as element present in list. Let's create this Python file. So I'm just going to refactor, so we haven't renamed it. So I'm just going to use .py extension and let's save this file. Okay, so now I'm going to create one list. Let's say my list equals to, now let's use the same list. Okay, so this is our list, and let's define one variable. So there are two ways I'm going to show you that how we can find whether that specific element is present in the list or not. So let's define one variable. So element is a variable which will assign or which will have the value which we want to find out whether that value is present in the list or not. So I'm just going to assign 4 value to element, and we are going to check whether that element value is present in this list or not. Also, I'm going to define one more variable, that is flag. I'm going to show you that why we are using flag. After that, first approach. Now let's see first approach. In the first approach, we are going to use for loop. So for I in, let's say my list, we are going to compare. For example, if I equals to element, then we are going to print element is present. And after that, we are going to give, or we are going to use the flag value, or we are going to create the flag value as 1. And similarly, then we are comparing. So basically what we are doing here, so for I in my list, so this will iterate. So this will iterate each and every element of the my list into the I. So in the first iteration, I will be 2. Then it will check if value of 2 equals to element. So in this case, it is 4. So it is not equal to 4. So it will not go to this condition, and flag will remain as 1 only. Flag will remain as 0 only. So flag will not be changed because it will not go into this statement because I value is not element for the first element. Then in the next iteration, it will check. So next iteration value of I will be 4. So it will check if my I value equals to element. In this case, the 4 equals to 4. So it will print element is present, and the flag value will become 1. And as soon as flag value becomes 1, that means element is present, we are going to use break statement. So break will, it will, so break, after using the break statement, it will not check further basically. So we want to check until if the element is present or not. If the element is present, then it will simply come out of this if loop, right? And after that, I'm going to use one more statement in the first. So after using break, once the element is found, then we don't want to iterate for further elements, right? So if we found the 4 in the second place only, then we don't want that it should iterate for all the list elements, right? That's why we are using break statement. So after using break, it will come out of the for loop, and then you can simply check out of the for loop if flag equals to 0, then we are going to simply print element is not present, right? So why we have used flag? So for example, let's say I'm now commenting the flag. Now let's say flag variable is not there. So what will happen in that case? So basically in that case it will simply print this value as well, right? So if we run this program, right, so it will print element is present as well because it went into the for loop in the if condition match. Then it will print element is present as well, and after coming out of this for loop it will again check if flag is 0. For example, here flag is 0 only, right? So it will print this statement as well, element is not present. So we don't want that, right? So that's why we are using flag. So after we use the flag, it will only check whether that element is present. So if element is not present, then flag value will not be 1. So flag value will be 0 only. So in that case, it will only print that element is not present. Now let's run this program. Right, so it is printing element is present because value of 4 is present. And after finding the value of 4, flag becomes 1 and it comes out of the for loop. And then flag, and it will not go into this if condition because flag value is 1 now, right? Similarly, now I'm going to change the value of 4 to some value that is not present in the list, right? So let's say 100. Now 100 value of element, it is not present in the list, correct? So now let's run the program. So it will print element is not present, right? Because the value of flag will be 0 here. It will not go into this condition because value of I for every iteration, it will not find any value as 100 in the list. So flag will not become 1 and it will be 0 only. So as flag is 0, it will simply print element is not present. Now this is the first approach. Now I am going to show you one more approach. So this was approach 1. Now I am going to show you one more approach. So I am going to comment this code by using control and forward slash. Now let's see approach 2. Approach 2 is by using in operator. So I'm going to redefine the list, the same list we are going to use. It is already there, so I'm just taking these values and I'm just pasting it here. So let's say my list is this one and we want to find out the value of 4, whether it is present in the list or not. So we don't need flag here. So what I'm going to use in operator. So we are simply using if condition, if element in my list, then print element is present, and simply else print element is not present. That's it. So what we are doing here, so by using in operator, so what this in operator does, it will simply check element. So what is the element value here? It is 4. It will check whether if the element value that is 4 is present in my list or not. So it will iterate every element or every item of this my list one by one, and it will check. So in the first iteration it will check whether 2 is present in element or not. So element value is 4. So 4, is it in my list? 2, that is wrong, right? That is not true. So it will go into else condition and it will print element is not present. It will not print, but it will just check one by one. And as soon as if the value of element is present in the list, then only it will print element is present. So let's run this program. So it is printing element is present because it is checking one by one every element of my list. Since 4 is present, it will simply print element is present. Now let's put another value. Let's say 456. Now 456 value is not present in the list, my list. So what it will do, it will iterate every element one by one. So in the first element, it is 2. So 2 is not in the my list. Then 4. 4 is also not in my list. Then 5. It is also not in my list. Then 33. It is also not in my list. Similarly, it will check for each and every element of the my list. And after so no element is found, right? So element value that is 456 is not found in any of these my list element values. So it will simply go to else condition. Then only it will go to else condition and it will print element is not present. So let's run this program. It will print element is not present. Correct. So this is how we can use use in operator in Python to verify, or we can use simply this statement to verify that specific element is present in our list or not. So thank you for watching this video. In the coming session, we will see more examples or more programs for Python practice.